बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। अस्सलामुअलैकुम। देसी उर्दू टीवी की खुसूसी रिपोर्ट के साथ मैं हूं रानी अंदलीब। ह्यूस्टन में योम आज़ादी पाकिस्तान की तकरीब। नाज़रीन, ह्यूस्टन में 14 अगस्त 2025 को योम आज़ादी पाकिस्तान बड़े जोश व खरोश के साथ मनाया गया। दिन का आगाज़ सुबह 10 बजे पाकिस्तान कौंसलेट ह्यूस्टन में परचम कुशाई की तकरीब से हुआ, जबकि शाम 7 बजे पाकिस्तान एसोसिएशन ऑफ ग्रेटर ह्यूस्टन के पाकिस्तान सेंटर जुना हॉल में एक और शानदार तकरीब मुनक्किद हुई। शाम की तकरीब का आगाज़ भी परचम कुशाई से हुआ, जिसके बाद पाकिस्तान की तारीख़ और सकाफ़त के बारे में मुख्तलिफ़ तकरीरें पेश की गईं। प्रोग्राम का एक अहम हिस्सा कलीदी तकरीरें थी जो माइकल कुगलमैन ने पेश की। माइकल कुगलमैन एक मारूफ अमरीकी माहिर ख़ारजा अमूर हैं जो जनूबी एशियाई ममालिक के ताल्लुकात में महारत रखते हैं। वो फ़ॉरेन पॉलिसी मैगज़ीन के कॉलम निगार और एशिया पैसिफिक फाउंडेशन के सीनियर फेलोज़ हैं। उन्होंने अमरीकी पाकिस्तानी ताल्लुकात पर अहम मालूमात और बसीरत फराम की। तकरीब में मोजिज़ मेहमान भी मौजूद थे, जिनमें शामिल हैं डॉक्टर यास्मीन कुरैशी, कौंसल जनरल पाकिस्तान ह्यूस्टन, मोहम्मद आफ्ताब चौधरी और मोहतरमा आफ्ताब चौधरी, जज रबिया कोलियर, 113वीं डिस्ट्रिक्ट कोर्ट, डॉक्टर मुबस्सर चौधरी, मिस्टर और मिसेस शाहिद हाशमी, नसरुद्दीन रूपानी, जाहिद बाबर, फ़हीम अखवंद और कलीदी मुकर्रर माइकल कुगलमैन। इसके अलावा नौजवान रहनुमा अर्शिया फैसल ने भी पाकिस्तानी अमरीकी कम्युनिटी से खिताब किया। अर्शिया सीनियर सहाफ़ी फैसल अजीज़ खान की बेटी कानून की तालीम हासिल कर रही हैं और उन्होंने नौजवानों को हुब्बुल वतनी और माशरती तरक्की की तरगीब दी। तकरीब में साबिक हॉकी ओलंपियन सलाउद्दीन सिद्दीकी और उनका ख़ानदान भी मौजूद थे। साथ ही उनके दरीना दोस्त जाहिद बाबर, जो यूनिवर्सिटीज़ ऑफ कराची के साबिक सदर भी हैं, इस खुशी के मौके पर शरीक हुए। ह्यूस्टन में योम आज़ादी की ये तकरीबात पाकिस्तानी अमरीकी कम्युनिटी में इत्तेहाद और फ़ख्र के जज्बात की अक्कासी करती हैं और पाकिस्तान की मीरास को याद करते हुए दोस्तों और शिराकतदारों के साथ ताल्लुकात को मजबूत बनाती हैं।
और इस जश्न आज़ादी के मौके पे PH आप सबको वेलकम करता है। हम अपनी सांसें तेरे नाम करते हैं, हम अपनी सांसें तेरे नाम करते हैं, ए वतन हम तेरी अज़मत को सलाम करते हैं। अब प्रोग्राम को हम शुरू करते हैं। उसके साथ ही मैं तिलावत कुरानी के लिए दावत देना चाहूँगी मिस्टर शायान को। प्लीज़ तशरीफ लाइए।
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ألف لام ميم الله لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم من عند ربها وما يذكر إلا
he made a comment that it would be there's a lot of hardship right now, hard summer, and so I got a little emotional. I can remember that. I said.
ये 14 अगस्त 2025 पाकिस्तान सेंटर Pakistani American Association Greater Houston is having a flag hosting ceremony। और ये हमारे कौंसिल जनरल साहब जो है वो फ्लैग रेस कर रहे हैं।
Please come here.
थोड़ा
पाकिस्तान जिंदाबाद, पाकिस्तान जिंदाबाद, पाकिस्तान जिंदाबाद। Thank you everyone. Let's proceed inside.
Most लेक्चर देते हैं कि आप अपने प्रोग्राम टाइम पे शुरू किया करें. And the good thing about him is he's always 5-10 minutes early. He would sit in the parking lot and he would tell me that मैं आ गया हूँ, मैं parking lot में बैठा हूँ. So I really appreciate all your support, all your guidance. Thank you so much. To be appointed by President Bush Jr. And it was not only a testament to his achievement and his success, but a matter of pride for all of us Pakistani diaspora that one amongst us was elevated to that highest position. I would like to recognize and congratulate Janab Nasruddin Rupani. I don't know what we would do without him. छोटे मोटे हमारे जितने भी प्रोग्राम्स होते हैं, नसरू भाई इतने चाहिए, नसरू भाई उतने चाहिए, नसरू भाई never says no. Nasuр bhai, thank you so much. Even for the major celebration that we have on 16th of August, Nasuр bhai has been very generous with this company. It is a matter of immense pride for us that somebody like him is today present in our premises. He's present in Houston, he's present amongst us. We are so proud of you, so proud of your services. You were an integral part of the golden days of Pakistan hockey, and the way you have served Pakistan in hockey is a role model for everyone to follow. So from the depth of our heart, our debt of gratitude, thank you so much. Thank you for your service and thank you for being here. I'd like to recognize Judge Rabia Kohli. Again, he is one of a very generous donor and supporter in every way. जहाँ कहीं पे हमें रहनुमाई की ज़रूरत पड़ती है, शाहिद साहब के दरवाजे और शाहिद. So much for being here today.
Pleasure, sir.
I would like to recognize Janab Sahim Afun Saab, the President of Jamia Karachi Alumni Association and a big supporter of Pakistan Association in every way that we need help. I would like to also recognize Mohtarma Dr. Yasmin Qureshi Saiba. Again, Nasru Bhai ki tarah or Shahid Bhai ki tarah, anytime, every time, we need support. The go-to people are 1, 2 and 3, and Dr. Yasmin Qureshi is always there, always in the forefront, always very generous. Dr. Saiba, from the bottom of my heart, thank you on behalf of Pakistan Association and my board. We have Firoz Rupani present here. Again, one of the leaders, one of the pioneers of the Pakistan community, a generous donor to all kinds of different causes. We have Jalaluddin, the former Test cricketer of Pakistan, and he holds the unique distinction of being the first medium pace bowler in one-day cricket to take a hat-trick. Nobody can take away that record from you, sir. I'd like to recognize Ilyas Beg Saab of Helping Hands. Again, Helping Hands is very generous with contributions, donations in supporting everyone, every effort of Pakistan Association. Present amongst us are former presidents of Pakistan Association. First and foremost, Mia Nazir. Hai yahan pe? Mia Nazir, as always, wo bahar koi na koi kaam mein lage hain. Thank you so much, Mia Saab, for your service. Present amongst us is Janab Taslim Siddiqui Saab, former president of Pakistan Association, as well as Janab Salman Razaki Saab. Salman Razaki Saab भी बाहर पे कामों में लगे हैं. अगर मैं किसी को भूल गया हूँ, जो मुझे नजर आ रहा है, मैं सबको recognize. में सिर्फ मीडिया नहीं है. मुज़फ़्फ़र आज़मी is a powerful intellectual personality of our community. किताब वजह Salman भाई, thank you so much. Mia Nazir, thank you so much. Thank you. Appreciate it. हमारी किताब और चाय की जो सीरीज़ है वो गज़नफ़र भाई उसमें इंटीग्रल पार्ट होते हैं. थैंक यू गज़नफ़र भाई. Zishan is always there to cover our services. Tariq Khan Saab is the pioneer of print and digital media in Houston. एक तवील तजर्बे के साथ आज भी रिटायर होने के बजाय इवेंट्स को कवर करने में लगे हुए हैं, अपने तजर्बे से दूसरों को भी ट्रेन कर रहे हैं. शबीब सैयद साहब, जमील साहब, ऑलवेज देयर फॉर अस. जनाब चुपके बैठे हैं. जाफर, and last but not the least Mahmood Saab. Nothing can happen in PHH without Mahmood Saab's anthak mehnat. And every now and then हम नाहिद भाभी को भी as a volunteer खींच लेते हैं जब भी ज़रूरत होती है. And I would like to express my deep gratitude to the board of Pakistan Association and all the volunteers. Imtiaz Bhai is a chief volunteer. हाँ, कैप्टन मैं नाम भूल गया. खड़े हो जाएं. Let's recognize a serving captain in Pakistan Armed Forces. He's visiting Houston and for a few days, and he found an invitation and he has graced the occasion. Thank you so much, Captain Saab. Please take our gratitude with you and convey it to all members of Pakistan Armed Forces. Thank you so much. और हमेशा उनके बगैर तो पता नहीं हिलता घर में. घर जाना है. अली भाई, पाकिस्तान चैम्बर ऑफ कॉमर्स के वाइस प्रेसिडेंट. थैंक यू सो मच. And he is also one of the generous donor for various programs. ये मैंने थोड़ा टाइम लिया लेकिन ये करना ज़रूरी होता है क्योंकि अगर हम अपने ख़ास लोगों को रिकग्नाइज ना करें तो ये फेयर नहीं है इनके साथ. हम आज जो कुछ भी हैं, पाकिस्तान एसोसिएशन, मैं एज प्रेसिडेंट, बाकी बोर्ड मेंबर्स, कम्युनिटी जहाँ कहीं पे भी आज है, कम्युनिटी इन तमाम लोगों की अनथक मेहनत, कंट्रीब्यूशन और सपोर्ट की वजह से है. So we owe collectively a debt of gratitude. अफशी कहाँ है कि चली गई है? अफशी चरानिया, the elected first Pakistani Muslim elected board member. वो आई थी, मेरे ख्याल है वो जल्दी चली गई, उनकी कोई मीटिंग थी. So now let's move forward and I apologize. एसी काम नहीं करा, गर्मी है, लेकिन पाकिस्तान कोई अच्छे हालात में नहीं बना था, बड़ी मुश्किलों में बना था. हमारे आबा व अजदाद ने इससे कहीं ज़्यादा कुर्बानी दे के पाकिस्तान बनाया था. अगर हम थोड़ी देर गर्मी में रह लें, मार्का हक जीतने के बाद तो चलेगा. थैंक यू सो मच.
चलेगी सही.
I am a big proponent of empowering our youth.
Nasuddin Pani, Islauddin Saab, and many ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. First of all, my apologies for being late. I hope you will forgive me. I will special request for Mr. Narsi, he will also forgive me. If he doesn't, then everyone makes mistakes. I will tell his wife that he recognized her at the last.
That's a good one.
So please forgive me, otherwise you will not be forgiven.
Thank you for your support, sir. Always.
MashaAllah, you're a good friend.
They are asking me to speak in English, Urdu, which I normally do, but I want to speak specifically for Mr. Women in English.
Yes, please.
First of all, I congratulate every one of you on the celebration on Independence Day of Pakistan. This year, as Mr. Siraj Nasi was also mentioning, and we got the messages from all the leadership. This year's celebration holds special significance. we got this verified and vindicated the slogan of our forefathers that Muslims and Hindus can't live together. They are two nations separated by their very deep beliefs, their ways of life. And we saw in May, starting with April, how our neighbor tried to take Pakistan, indulge in nefarious design which they always had. But our joy today increases that we responded befittingly to them. So our establishment of the creation of Pakistan and our joy cannot be more than this. When we celebrate this Marka Haq and Bunyan Marsus, today we commit that this Bunyan Marsus doesn't end. We have to take it forward. We have to build an equitable, a just, a prosperous Pakistan economically, and we will continue to work hard for that. And I assure you all that we are capable of doing that. We will do that. So this spirit will continue to that goal, which was the dream of our forefathers. When we come to this dream of a prosperous, economically prosperous Pakistan, we come to overseas Pakistanis who are the backbone of Pakistan. Not only economically, the most importantly, they take the good ideals and beliefs they have learned here, they have seen here, and they want to replicate in Pakistan. So we value their contribution, and also when we see down the line that what we have to achieve, especially like Arisha was mentioning, you are not the numbers. This youth is not the number. They are dream. Every young person is a dream that has to be fulfilled. And when we talk about youth and Pakistani overseas, especially in the US, they have not only contributed economically and ideas, they are the bedrock of Pak-US relations. As you are expert of South Asia, I would request you if you can highlight some aspect on this, that since the creation of Pakistan, Pak-US diplomatic relations were established in very early days. And after that, the relationship has gone up and down. With the 50s in Sito Cento, then Cold War. But US contribution to Pakistan's development and progress has been fundamental, be it agriculture, be it technology, be it education, be it economy, or be it military cooperation. Pakistan has been non-NATO ally of the US of the last 2 decades. So today we see that these relations are on the upward trajectory, which I'm sure you will highlight those, the recent trends and its projections. So this community is the bedrock, even if we're not good. This community, we say that all the things can fail between the relationships, but this link, this community, this relationship will not fail with these relations between Pakistan and the US. So once again, I congratulate on the Independence Day. Pakistan Zindabad. Nasuddin Pani, Islauddin Saab, and many ladies and gentlemen, good evening. First of all, my apologies for being late. I hope you will forgive me. I will special request for Mr. Narsi, he will also forgive me. If he doesn't, then everyone makes mistakes. I will tell his wife that he recognized her at the last.
That's a good one.
So please forgive me, otherwise you will not be forgiven.
Thank you for your support, sir. Always.
MashaAllah, you're a good friend.
They are asking me to speak in English, Urdu, which I normally do, but I want to speak specifically for Mr. Women in English.
Yes, please.
First of all, I congratulate every one of you on the celebration on Independence Day of Pakistan. This year, as Mr. Siraj Nasi was also mentioning, and we got the messages from all the leadership. This year's celebration holds special significance. We got this verified and vindicated the slogan of our forefathers that Muslims and Hindus can't live together. They are two nations separated by their very deep beliefs, their ways of life. And we saw in May, starting with April, how our neighbor tried to take Pakistan, indulge in nefarious design which they always had. But our joy today increases that we responded befittingly to them. So our establishment of the creation of Pakistan and our joy cannot be more than this. When we celebrate this Marka Haq and Bunyan Marsus, today we commit that this Bunyan Marsus doesn't end. We have to take it forward. We have to build an equitable, a just, a prosperous Pakistan economically, and we will continue to work hard for that. And I assure you all that we are capable of doing that. We will do that. So this spirit will continue to that goal, which was the dream of our forefathers. When we come to this dream of a prosperous, economically prosperous Pakistan, we come to overseas Pakistanis who are the backbone of Pakistan. Not only economically, the most importantly, they take the good ideals and beliefs they have learned here, they have seen here, and they want to replicate in Pakistan. So we value their contribution, and also when we see down the line that what we have to achieve, especially like Arisha was mentioning, you are not the numbers. This youth is not the number. They are dream. Every young person is a dream that has to be fulfilled. And when we talk about youth and Pakistani overseas, especially in the US, they have not only contributed economically and ideas, they are the bedrock of Pak-US relations. As you are expert of of South Asia, I would request you if you can highlight some aspect on this, that since the creation of Pakistan, Pak-US diplomatic relations were established in very early days. And after that, the relationship has gone up and down with the 50s in Cito-Cento, then Cold War. But US contribution to Pakistan's development and progress has been fundamental, be it agriculture, be it technology, be it education, be it economy, or be it military cooperation. Pakistan has been non-NATO ally of the US of the last 2 decades. So today we see that these relations are on the upward trajectory, which I'm sure you will highlight those the recent trends and its projections. So these communities, the bedrock, even if we're not good, this community, we say that all the things can fail between the relationships, but this link, this community, this relationship will not fail with these relations between Pakistan and the US. So once again, I congratulate on the Independence Day. Pakistan Zindabad.
At Horizon Engage, a geopolitical risk consultancy. He is also a columnist for Foreign Policy magazine and writes its South Asia Brief, a weekly newsletter of news and analysis from the region. His experience also includes nearly 20 years of managing South Asia portfolio at the Wilson Center think tank, and he was founding director of its South Asia Institute in 2022. He writes and comments regularly for major media outlets in the US, Europe, and South Asia. Sir, please welcome.
Good evening. Let me first thank Siraj Hashmi. Can everyone hear me? Yeah. Want to thank Siraj, Narsi, and the Pakistan Association of Greater Houston for hosting me at this very special event. It's an honor for me to be here with you all. I also acknowledge Consul General Chaudhry, as well as Ambassador Kumber and others dignified attendees this evening. And of course, most importantly, I wish Pakistan a happy Independence Day. So I will deliver these remarks in English because my Urdu isn't yet ready for prime time. I'm working on it. So I'm here tonight to make a declaration of sorts, one that earlier on, as President Trump prepared to return to power, I would not have expected to be making today. And that declaration is that the US-Pakistan relationship is enjoying a resurgence, a revival, a renaissance. Pick any R word that you would like to describe a relationship that has strengthened in a big way after some lean moments in the recent past. So what I'll do in these comments is I will explain why one would not have expected the relationship to resurge in this way, and I'll also discuss what might be driving the resurgence. I'll also talk about why, in my view, this resurgence actually risks being a brief one, and then I'll conclude by discussing how the US and Pakistan can truly cement a robust partnership in the coming months and years. So why did I not expect to be making this declaration? Why should we not have expected an improvement in ties during these early months of Trump 2.0? And after all, as this audience will know, and as the Consul General just noted, the US-Pakistan relationship has had its share of ups and downs. It's been a roller coaster. Its history is marked by many downs and ups. Quite frequently, bad periods have been followed by better periods. So why not expect a better period now? Because, in my view, when the second Trump administration took office in January, there were so many signals and trend lines pointing toward a relationship that would actually struggle. And let me briefly identify some of those signals and trend lines. First, the Trump administration, including the president himself, have quite a few people at the very top known for being harsh critics of Pakistan in the past. No one will easily forget that infamous tweet that Trump posted on New Year's Day early on in his term, referring to Pakistan and its lies and deceit. That was the president that said that many years ago. Second, the Trump administration's rigidly transactional approach to foreign policy means that it's not receptive to pitches from Pakistan or any country about its strategic importance, from its key location to its large population. Third, many of the key areas of cooperation during the Biden era, in the years immediately preceding the present, have now become irrelevant. Clean energy, climate change, these are not areas of interest for the Trump administration. Development cooperation, the administration, of course, has frozen foreign aid and dismantled USAID. Fourth, this administration has so many key priorities. He wanted to negotiate a withdrawal from Afghanistan, and he wanted Pakistan to help because of its access to the Taliban. So predictably, President Trump began his current administration by not really doing or saying much at all about Pakistan. By contrast, as you all know, he invited Narendra Modi to the White House. There was a lot of high-level U.S.-India engagement. Marco Rubio met with Dr. Jaishankar. J.D. Vance went to India. He met with Modi there. A lot of talk about moving the relationship forward. None of that really seemed surprising back at that time. But then, of course, things went sideways and fast. And I think one of the earliest indications of the shift in U.S.-Pakistan relations came in early March, when in his first joint address to Congress, President Trump thanked Pakistan for helping the U.S. apprehend a terrorist. Who would have thought that in that speech, President Trump would have thanked one country and that it would be Pakistan? But that's what happened. Then came a flurry of high-level engagements. Private U.S. investors started showing up in Pakistan. A senior U.S. government delegation went to Pakistan for a critical minerals conference. Pakistani crypto officials met senior authorities at the White House. And then, of course, as we all know, Pakistan's army chief was invited to a White House lunch with Trump. And most recently, Pakistan was one of the very few countries to get a trade deal with the U.S. with reduced tariffs. And it has inked new energy deals with the United States to boot. There's an oil reserve development accord announced by President Trump on social media. And also, as I understand it, the U.S. plans to ship crude oil to Pakistan for the first time, starting in October. And of course, on the flip side, as we all know, U.S. ties with India have nosedived and crash landed. So why are we seeing this resurgence in U.S.-Pakistan ties? Let me offer a few possible explanations. One is what I would describe as a holdover effect. So I would argue that U.S.-Pakistan relations were actually in a fairly good place in the few years preceding Trump's return to power. They were not deep, they were not multifaceted, there were not extensive high-level engagements as there are now, but they were generally friendly and crisis-free, with just one or two key exceptions, one perhaps being Pakistan's ballistic missiles program, which, as you recall, prompted some sanctions from the U.S. One key reason why you had relatively good relations in the few years before Trump returned to power is that some of the biggest tension points in earlier years had become irrelevant. This includes, in particular, tensions related to the U.S.-led war in Afghanistan, and especially long-standing U.S. allegations of Pakistani support for violent actors that threatened and targeted U.S. troops in Afghanistan. Of course, the war in Afghanistan, it ended in 2021, just about 4 years ago, in fact. So in other words, there has been scope to advance and expand relations, even despite the obstacles that I mentioned earlier on. Additionally, in the same category of holdover effects, officer-to-officer ties, and more broadly, the U.S.-Pakistan military partnership have always been quite strong. And this has been a constant throughout much of the history of U.S.-Pakistan relations, even at difficult moments. And despite the irony, from a U.S. perspective at least, that some of the very Pakistani policies that have concerned the U.S. the most over the years, especially what the U.S. has viewed as Pakistan's sponsorship of militant actors, have been developed and managed by by the establishment. These officer-to-officer ties have been nurtured by many years of military education and training programs, which have entailed Pakistani military officers studying and training with U.S. counterparts in the U.S. and until relatively recently in Pakistan as well. So keep in mind that when Trump suspended most security aid to Pakistan early in his first term, that initially included what's called IMET, the U.S. International Military and Education Training Program. But that IMET suspension was soon reversed because U.S. officials knew how important it was for the U.S. military. These consistently cordial officer-to-officer ties have facilitated what I would describe as consistent high-level military engagements, which has included most recently Field Marshal Munir's close partnership with General Kurilla, until recently the CENTCOM head. But these high-level military engagements are not new. Many recent Pakistani army chiefs, excluding the present one, not the present one, have attended training and education programs in the United States as younger officers. But still, despite all this, few would have expected this rapid flurry of high-level bilateral engagement and pledges of multifaceted cooperation of the last few months. There's something else that must be driving this. So what is it? Here, I would point to Pakistan. Pakistan's government, Pakistan being very savvy about its approach to what is a very unconventional U.S. president and administration. For President Trump, international relations are shaped less by strategic partnerships and even geopolitical interest, and more so by transactional and indeed commercial considerations. So what Pakistan has done, and I think it's done it very well, is that it has honed in on the opportunities in the world that interest the Trump administration the most, and it has successfully pitched itself as a partner to help the administration seize on those opportunities. So I'll point to three examples. First, Pakistan knows that the U.S. is keen to tap into critical mineral opportunities around the world. So it's flagged its massive critical mineral wealth, invited the U.S. to engage on that, including through the Mineral Investment Forum earlier this year that I mentioned. Second, it knows that this administration is keen to tap into crypto. So Pakistan has now pitched itself as a crypto partner, having now established a new crypto council fairly recently, and taken steps recently to start legalizing crypto. And third, and this one is a bit different because it's not focused on commercial issues, is counterterrorism. Pakistan knows the Trump administration is not interested in military operations, much less wars, but it is determined to do what it has to do to apprehend terrorists and other violent and bad actors that threaten and target the U.S. So Pakistan has been able to pitch itself as a player because of its location and its capacities that can help the U.S. track down Islamic State terrorists that have hit the U.S., and it has done so. I also point to two other ways in which Pakistan has successfully cultivated ties with an unconventional administration. And here, I apologize if this comes across as a bit provocative, but this is my sense. One has been capitalizing on President Trump's strong emphasis on personal and family ties. I don't think it's coincidental that Pakistan has sought to engage with a U.S. crypto company that has close connections to several of Trump's close family members. And here, I'll be very blunt, flattery doesn't hurt with this president. And I think Pakistan understands that. Make a reference to the Nobel Peace Prize nomination. Now this is not to say that this resurgence has been fully driven by transactional and commercial factors alone. I would argue that the strategic dimension does loom large here as well. Pakistan, I would argue, has effectively depicted itself as a unique player in the world. It has been able to be very tactical about its strategic importance, and that countries that has very good relations with China, with Iran, to somewhat of a lesser extent with Russia, with the Arab Gulf states, and with the West. And I think this is something that is of interest to the president, as it should be. Now, I would argue that we should not overstate this resurgence, as real as it is. I want U.S.-Pakistan relations to succeed. We all want U.S.-Pakistan relations to succeed. Both U.S. and Pakistani interests are well served by a cordial and active relationship. But when I think about it, sometimes I'm not sure if the relationship is the most if the current relationship is the most sustainable one over the long term as currently configured. And I say that because there are a number of question marks and obstacles. So many of Pakistan's critical minerals are in insecure, terror-prone areas. This means considerable risks for those looking to exploit them. And if you look at crypto, it's still a work in progress in Pakistan. And I think it's also tough to square the large consumption of water and energy required by crypto assets with Pakistan's shortages of both those resources. As for counterterrorism, we saw a very strong positive joint statement after the U.S.-Pakistan bilateral dialogue on counterterrorism, which happened yesterday in Islamabad. Shows that there's a lot of potential there. And we've seen that there's been very real, meaningful cooperation on counterterrorism as made public by the President in his joint address some months ago. But the problem, as I see it, is that when it comes to counterterrorism, the U.S. wants to work with Pakistan on tracking down militants that threaten the U.S. Now, if you look at some of the recently published U.S. intelligence estimates, interestingly, they drive Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan, the TTP, as a potential future threat to the U.S. So that suggests there might be some scope to expand cooperation to focus on TTP as well. But the Trump administration, in my view, will not have much interest in restoring security assistance to Pakistan, and certainly no interest in kinetic operation. I think we could see intelligence sharing ramp up when it comes to counterterrorism, but I don't necessarily see things going beyond that. So let me conclude with a few quick thoughts on how to make this relationship work over the long term and what to focus on. First, the two sides should look at opportunities to expand wider U.S. investment in Pakistan. And I think the ideal vehicle for such investment would be the U.S. International Development Finance Corporation, or DFC. This is a U.S. government tool. It's been around for a few years. It's up for reauthorization in Congress, but I suspect it will get it. The DFC, what it does, for those of you that don't know about it, it advances U.S. interests abroad by mobilizing capital, very much in line with the Trump administration's commercial approach to foreign policy. So the DFC currently has a small, very small portfolio in Pakistan, one of the smallest of all the DFC portfolios. Now I think is the time to ramp it up, the moment's right. Given that Chinese investment in Pakistan, at least through CPEC, has slowed down a bit. So I think there's a nice window. Critical minerals are a key part of DFC's portfolio right now, so maybe DFC can pursue some of those opportunities in Pakistan, but it's worth looking to expand that portfolio to hedge against the risks that would accompany deploying capital into critical mineral activities. Second, the US and Pakistan should do more cooperation within multilateral settings. Strong bilateral partnerships, in my view, entail working together with other countries and in regions further afield. I think that there are various untapped opportunities in this regard. One would involve Central Asia. The Trump administration is quite intrigued by engagement opportunities there because of its gas riches and critical minerals, among other things. Pakistan, I think we can all agree, is very interested in Central Asia engagement. It sees it as a highly strategic area. It's already been pursuing some connectivity projects there, including a rail project with Uzbekistan and Afghanistan. And it's also, Central Asia is also a big part of this envisioned shift, eventually a shift from emphasizing geopolitics to emphasizing geoeconomics in Pakistan's foreign policy. I would also argue that Central Asia is an area where Pakistan can be an advantage in competition with India, given that India lacks direct access, land access to Central Asia. So there's all kinds of good reasons for Pakistan and the US to want to focus on Central Asia and together. The Middle East, volatile and complex as it is, could also be an important space for US-Pakistan cooperation. Pakistan, as I mentioned before, it has close ties with all the Arab Gulf states, and it has friendly ties with, and of course a shared border with Iran. Pakistan's close engagement with Iran in recent weeks, in my view, is another reason why the Trump administration has been so keen to reach out to Pakistan, and especially since the Israel-Iran war. Pakistan's mediation role vis-a-vis Iran is something that can be helpful to both American and Pakistani interests. Third and finally, and maybe this is the most important point to make, it's time to better privatize US-Pakistan relations. So many of you will remember Mark Grossman, who was a senior US official some years back, focused on Pakistan and South Asia. So he said some time ago, that about 90% of the US-Pakistan relationship takes place through government-to-government channels. That means that only 10% was channeled through the business sector, academia, and other non-government entities. I'm not sure if that figure has gone up in more recent years, but it really should. And here, I come to you all, and this was mentioned by the Consul General. The Pakistani diaspora can really be a key catalyst in privatizing US-Pakistan relations. Oh, have I been cut off? Of this project. I was wrapping up. Pakistani Americans. Thank you. Pakistani Americans, including some of you here tonight, I'm sure, work in high growth sectors, tech, clean energy, health, so many other fields. The diaspora boasts skills, the networks, and other resources to help bolster Pakistan's development. And so my view is that ideally Pakistani Americans, along with diaspora members elsewhere around the world, could contribute to strengthening these areas, these sectors in Pakistan, and could also contribute to the reforms process in Pakistan, and other structural fixes that would bring more sustainability, long-term sustainability to Pakistan's economy and to US-Pakistan relations more broadly. I would argue, yes, I mean, Pakistan's economic situation has stabilized considerably in recent months, particularly on a macroeconomic level. But one could argue that there's still a number of strategic, structural challenges in Pakistan's economy. If Pakistan develops a stronger economy over the long term, this will make it a much more attractive partner to the United States and other partners beyond. So with that, I will conclude. Thank you very much for hearing me out.
Pakistan and US relationship.
Thank you. Great question. I mean, it's hard to predict the future. I mean, it was hard to predict what was going to play out over the last few months. As I said, I think many were surprised about how US-Pakistan relations have evolved. You know, I go back to what I said at the end of my comments before, but I think that the trajectory of US-Pakistan relations will be positive, much more likely to be positive if we see continued strengthening of Pakistan's economy. I think it'll just make it easier for future U.S. officials, whoever they might be, to want to engage with Pakistan. Because at the end of the day, everything comes down to economics, that type of thing. Beyond that, it's very hard to say. Quite frankly, it's very hard to project. I'm talking about I think it depends in that sense what type of president you have, what party he represents. I think that some of these huge issues that face the world now, climate change, issues like that.
And good evening. आज पाकिस्तान का सबसे बड़ा दिन है. Today, 78 years ago, Pakistan was created. आज दुनिया भर में जितने भी पाकिस्तानी हैं, उन सब के लिए ये दिन ईद से कम नहीं है. It is an absolute honor to stand here among such distinguished guests, respected elders, and my dear brothers and sisters. Audience में जितने भी लोग बैठे हैं, उन सबको मेरा सलाम, including my father, Faisal Aziz Khan. I want to thank PAGH and its president, Siraj Narsi, Uncle and Amir Zaidi Uncle for this wonderful opportunity, and a warm welcome to Honorable Michael Kugelman. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. मैं अपनी स्पीच का आगाज़ अल्लामा इकबाल के एक बहुत खूबसूरत शेर से करना चाहूँगी, which is very inspiring to the youth today. जवानों तुम्हारी परवाज़ है बुलंद इतनी, जवानों तुम्हारी परवाज़ है बुलंद इतनी कि फिर तुम्हें कोई मंजिल मुकर्रर ना रहे. These words by Iqbal remind us that youth's potential is limitless. Their flight is so high that no single destination can ever define them. Before the creation of Pakistan, Iqbal's poetry was like एक शोला जो दिल को रोशन करता है. Awakening the Muslim youth, unity and leadership for social empowerment. I'm a founder, president of Pakistan Youth Forum at Clements High School. I am about to start my journey in becoming a lawyer, and mind, I want to be a political leader, just like our great Qaid-e-Azam. My journey from Karachi to the United States has taught me that patriotism knows no borders. Whether at home or abroad, the love of Pakistan is a flame to be kept alive through action, service and integrity. I believe in our youth. I believe in our fire. मुझे यकीन है कि अगर हम चाहें तो हम सिर्फ फॉलोअर्स नहीं, लीडर्स बन सकते हैं और आज से एक बहुत बेहतर पाकिस्तान बना सकते हैं. This Independence Day, don't just raise a flag. Raise your standards, raise your voice, raise your vision. अपनी स्पीच का इख्तिमाम भी इकबाल के एक बहुत खूबसूरत शेर से करूँगी. सबक फिर पढ़ सदाकत का, अदालत का, शुजाअत का. सबक फिर पढ़ सदाकत का, अदालत का, शुजाअत का. लिया जाएगा तुझसे काम दुनिया की इमामत का. इकबाल का ख्वाब, जिना की ताबीर और हमारी मंजिल पाकिस्तान. पाकिस्तान हमेशा जिंदाबाद. थैंक यू सो मच.
देसी उर्दू टीवी से फिर वक्त के लिए इतना ही. मज़ीद अपडेट रहने के लिए हमारे साथ जुड़े रहिए.
Now I am American. I have citizen.
I still have my Salvadorian passport and now I have my USA passport. I am a citizen of the US.
Khi cầm cái hộ chiếu Mỹ, cô rất là tự hào mình là công dân Mỹ.
La ciudadanía para mí significa oportunidades.
Si ya tienen el tiempo que pueden hacerse ciudadanas, que lo hagan.
No pierde nada uno con intentarlo.
Como dicen en México, echándole ganas todo se puede.
You came to this country for a brighter future for you and your loved ones. You've made it this far. Now it's time to become a citizen. With citizenship, you gain the right to vote, access to federal jobs, the ability to keep your family closer, and the freedom to travel with a U.S. passport. These are just a few of the benefits waiting for you when you become eligible. We're here to help you through the process with free resources and personalized guidance. Together, we can make it easier. Get started at becomeacitizentoday.com.